The trip north took Amma through places she had only heard about in stories. She traveled with merchants on fishing boats and walked through forests where trees were so tall they blocked the sun. At each place, she listened for stories about a fisherman and his daughter. And in every story, there was a pattern. In one town, someone said a man paid with southern fishing hooks, but claimed he was from the eastern mountains. In another village, children remembered a girl who sang coastal songs, but spoke like river people. The stories showed people learning to be different. At Kintampo, where 7 rivers met, Amma finally understood what she was chasing. She shared a sleeping house with an old woman named Nana Sewa, who had wise eyes. They sat by the fire making food, and the old woman looked at Amma's hand. Nana Sewa asked Amma, "You hunt people who left on purpose. I can smell your sadness, but also something else. You found out you were betrayed." Amma replied, "You have the gift?" Nana Sewa answered, "I have lived 90 years, daughter. I have seen all kinds of disappearances. Tell me your story, and I will tell you what you don't see yet." Amma told her about Jeed and Abigail. When she finished, Nana Sewa nodded. "The crocodile priests are not what your people think." Nana Sewa replied, "They don't just guard rivers and bless fishermen. They collect secrets and debts that can't be paid with money." "What kind of debts?" Amma asked. "Debts paid with lives." Nana Sewa replied, "Your husband went to them as someone who owed them. And what they wanted was your daughter, but not for the reasons he told her." "Why do they want Abigail?" Amma asked. "Because she has 2 powerful gifts, your sight and his control of water," replying Nana Sewa. "If trained in their secret ways, she could become something rare, a true water speaker who can control the rivers." "And if she says no?" Amma asked in curiosity. "The crocodile priests don't ask twice." Nana Sewa replied, "If she won't serve willingly, they will take what they need and throw her away." Amma realized she was in a race. Her daughter was either already trapped or about to learn that her father had sold her. The river city of Yeji looked like something from a dream. Its temples and houses floated on great rafts connected by rope bridges. Below, children dove for pearls while fishermen cast their nets. This was crocodile priest territory. They had ruled the rivers for 40 generations. Their word was law on every boat that passed. Amma arrived pretending to be a herb seller. She hid her gift carefully. The priests could sense magic from far away, and she couldn't risk being found before she found her family. She set up a small stall selling healing plants and charms. From there, she watched, and what she learned frightened her. The priests didn't just control trade. They ran secret schools where gifted children were taught water magic. Some came willingly, wanting power. Others came as payment for debts. And once they entered those schools, many never left. On her 5th day, while buying spices, Amma heard a voice that made her heart stop. Laughing, it was bright and familiar. It was that of Abigail, her daughter. She followed the sound and found a great training pool where young people practiced water magic under the priest's eyes. There, moving through the water gracefully, was her daughter. But she was no longer a child. Abigail was 22 now, marked with ritual tattoos. She wore blue and green robes, and when she moved her hands, the water turned to glass. She was powerful, beautiful, and she was happy. Then Amma saw him, older, wearing a teacher's robe. Jeed, her husband, hadn't just hidden their daughter with the priests. He had joined them. Amma watched as Jeed put a proud hand on Abigail's shoulder while she performed a difficult spell. His touch was gentle, loving, and without any guilt. Whatever deal Jide made, he believed it was worth it. But Amma couldn't shake a question that chilled her heart. If they were so happy, why had they left clues for her to follow? That night, as temple bells rang, Amma slipped through the dark waterways to where the teachers lived. Through a window, she saw them together for the first time in 12 years. Jide reading scrolls, Abigail grinding herbs beside him. They looked content, peaceful, whole. Amma turned to leave, but Abigail suddenly looked straight at the window. "She's here," Abigail exclaimed. "I know. I felt her arrival 5 days ago," Jide answered. "Come inside, Mother," Abigail said, welcoming Amma into the house. "We've been waiting for you." Against every instinct, Amma climbed through the window. 12 years, Amma said with a shaky voice. 12 years of getting ready. For this moment. Jide answered. "You knew I would come?" Amma asking, confused by what Jide said. "We made sure you would." Jide answered. "Every clue you found, every story, we planted them to bring you here." Abigail added. "Why? Why let me grieve? Why let me think you were dead?" Amma asked, still trying so hard to understand their reasons for leaving her all by herself for 12 years. "Because we needed you to become someone who could do what we are about to ask," Jide replied. He placed something on the table, a mask, carved from black wood, decorated with river pearls. A priest's ceremonial mask. "We need you to help us destroy them," Jide said, referring to the crocodile priests. Amma's world tilted. Everything she thought she knew was wrong. They hadn't joined the crocodile priests. They had infiltrated them. Before dawn, as the city drifted on quiet water, Jide and Abigail told the truth. "The priests are parasites," Jide explained. "They feed on the magic of the children they claim to teach. Every gifted child who enters their schools eventually has their power drained. Some die. Others live on, empty, hollow shells. The priests tell families they have reached a higher level. But they've only been harvested," Abigail added. "How many?" Amma asked. "Hundreds. Over 20 years." Jide answered. "And you went into debt on purpose?" Amma asked, still yet to fully understand the situation. "It was the only way to get close enough to learn the truth," Jide answered. "But the plan needed you, Amma. Someone outside who could find us. When the time came," he added. "Your pain was the hardest part. But it had to be real. They were watching us," Abigail added. "And it made you stronger." Amma sat on the floor, overwhelmed. 12 years of pretending. 12 years of planning. Tomorrow night, the priests will perform their great harvest. Jide explained, "If we can destroy the objects they use to store magic, we can free the children and end their rule." "What do you need me to do?" Amma asked. "We need you to be the best tracker you have ever been. Because tomorrow night, we are going to help hundreds of children find their way home." Abigail replied. As they began to plan, a shadow slipped away from the window into the dawn. The crocodile priests had been listening, and they had their own plans for the family that had been pretending to serve them for 12 years. 3 months after the Night of Broken Temples, as storytellers now call it, Amma stood on the beach of her home village again, watching the sunset paint the water gold and red. But she wasn't alone this time, and she wasn't the same woman who waved goodbye to a fishing boat 12 years before. Beside her, Abigail knelt in the sand, her hands glowing with restored water magic as she pulled healing minerals from the sea to treat wounds of children they rescued from the floating city. The girl who once dreamed of becoming a water speaker had become something better, a breaker of chains, a liberator. Jide worked down the beach with older rescued children, teaching them to build new fishing boats using techniques never touched by the priest's corruption. His own magic, returned when the harvest objects broke, flowed through his hands into the wood, making boats stronger and faster than any that had sailed these waters. The night of their big risk hadn't gone as planned. The priests had been waiting, and the battle in the temple depths cost more than expected. But when the old objects finally cracked open and released 12 years of stored power, the magic didn't fade to nothing like the priests expected. It recognized its real owners and flowed back to them like rivers returning to the sea. Not all the children survived. Not all the magic could be restored. But enough was saved that the priests' empire of stolen gifts fell in one night. And word of their defeat spread to every kingdom where they had worked. "Mother," Abigail called, pointing at the water. "Look, I saw dolphins swimming unusually close to shore, their bodies cutting through the waves in what looked like a planned pattern. They're making the symbol of safe return," Amma said, recognizing the pattern from old fishing traditions. "The water spirits approve," Jeed said, joining them. "They know balance has been restored." As they stood watching the dolphins dance in the evening light, Amma thought about what storytellers would say. It would be told as a tale of patience and sacrifice, of family bonds stronger than lies, of justice that sometimes required becoming something different than what you were. But she knew the deeper truth. Sometimes the greatest act of love was letting the people you loved most think you had abandoned them. So when the time came for them to save you, they would be strong enough to do what was needed. "What happens now?" Amma asked. Abigail smiled, her young face showing wisdom earned through trials no child should face. "Now we teach the children to be strong enough that no one can steal their gifts again. And we make sure anyone who tries to harm the gifted learns what happens when they threaten a family of water speakers." As stars appeared in the darkening sky, reflected in the calm water like scattered diamonds, the three of them began singing the old songs of safe return, their voices carrying across the waves to where other families waited for their own lost ones to come home. Storytellers say that some disappearances create more than just absence. They create space for new strength to grow. And sometimes, when that strength finally shows itself, it changes not just the people who were found, but the whole world they return to. This tale is told when young people must learn that love and sacrifice can look many different ways, and that the greatest victories sometimes need the longest and most painful journeys. May all who hear it find strength to face their own deep waters, and wisdom to know when swimming up sometimes means diving down first.